today. So since yesterday we had 4 panels yesterday, and today we had 2 panels in the morning. So we would like to remind that this is an hybrid event. So there will be participants following us from Kinshasa in DRC. So this specific panel will focus on collaborations and synergies around the future of the geospatial industry in the African region. And we are glad today to have as panelists Mrs. Dorah Nesoba, who is representing the Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development from Kenya. And also we have Mr. Eldrige from Satellogic in Finland, who is also present. So we were expecting more speakers, but many speakers are canceling in the last minutes. So, but we can move on. So the session will be recorded as well. So it will be available later on online for the participants who were not able to join us today. They will be able to follow up with the presentations later. And also the recommendations that we are making from this forum and from the different panels will be included in a report that will be available online and submitted to decision makers to move forward with progress in the geospatial industry in Africa. So I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Dorah Nesoba for her presentation. Thank you so much. Mrs. Dorah, please.
Good evening. Good morning. I'm Dorah Nesoba from the Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development. And I'd just like to address this topic that we were assigned as an institution. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
All right. So our topic was the future of African space sector, synergies, partnerships, and international cooperation. So for me, I looked at it from the issue of addressing the space challenges that bedevil Africa. Then I also looked at the issues of the benefits from space infrastructure, which is becoming more evident in management, and the issues of long-term and significant challenges faced by the modern society. So in the case of natural disasters like floods, which we have experienced in our continent a lot, then we can look at it from the remote sensing perspective from space and provide data for the whole cycle of information for floods, prevention, and mitigation. And we can also do it through pre-flood assessment. And then response during the floods that have happened in our different countries. Also look at the issue of recovery after floods and weather news focus. And looking at timely satellite imagery and communications links in how to reach places that can help and stem the catastrophic economic and human losses, and key contributions of space technology to meeting society's challenges, especially in Africa. So from this, I was looking at it, we look at the contributions of space technology in meeting Africa's challenges. So we have the ability to communicate anywhere in the world. So this is creating synergies because we have the satellites, we have the remote sensing and other Earth observation instruments where we're able to communicate anywhere in the world, even when we're experiencing floods. Then we also have the ability to observe any spot on the Earth very accurately, as well as the ability to locate a fixed or a moving object anywhere on the surface of the globe. So these are the synergies that have been created throughout the world, and especially in Africa. Then we see that we're looking at space science and technology, and it continues to contribute to sustainable development and offers many benefits to mankind. Depending on their mission, the satellites have different orbits. So,
Mrs.
Yes?
Dorah,
Yes?
excuse me, feel free to share your screen for the presentation if you would like. Feel free to do so. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I've not put it on a PowerPoint.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
I'll share my presentation with you after this, because I've just written it down.
Okay, no problem.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So I look at synergies being created within Africa and the international community. So it creates partnerships between the various organizations. Like in Africa, we are, for example, Rcmrd is working with NASA in the US. We're also working with the various space centers that have been set up in the different countries in Africa. We're also working with various development partners and the UN to help and identify the challenges, but not just identifying the challenges. We are coming up with solutions that can help us in addressing these different challenges. So that's how I look at this in terms of creating synergies and partnerships and international cooperation, where we have the various development partners, and we also have the civil society that contributes, and especially have the media, which now comes in and helps send out this message to all the other parties involved in this. So without communication, we can't get to know how what one organization or one body is doing. So that is why communication is key in this, in terms of creating synergies and partnerships, as well as creating cooperation at the international level. So the other thing I'd like to point out is we also have the issue of the internet. For we here in this meeting, we have internet connectivity. We are connecting from different parts of the world and different parts of Africa. So we have the internet that has helped us to connect to Zoom and share knowledge and information. Then I'm looking at broadband, where satellite communications are filling up the gaps and increasing broadband access to particularly landlocked countries and rural areas where cable penetration is non-existent. So this creates a channel for people to get information, but also to send out information, like when people are experiencing floods in the different places. For example, we had a project that we were doing in Malawi with UNDP, where we were identifying the hotspots in Malawi, especially when floods occur in different villages or districts in Malawi, and people can, within a short period, people can move to higher ground because they've been alerted about what is happening in Malawi, or being told to move to higher ground. A fire alarm goes off and people can now move to a higher ground. So I would like to stop at that. And I'll put this together and send it to you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Mrs. Dorah, for your presentation. So before moving to the panel discussion, we will, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Eldrige De Melo, who is representing Synergies from Finland, so that he can make his presentation as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manuel. I would like to send my greetings to everybody attending this amazing event today. I would like also to congratulate TOD'AERS for hosting this magnificent event. It's my second time here today, so that means that I'm really enjoying and being happy to be invited and be part of this first great event for Africa. And I look forward to the many more events that are going to be coming up on the following years. I'm going to quickly share my screen. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, now we can see. Thank you.
Yeah, so I would like to just follow up on the great introduction that Dorah Nesoba did, and speak a little bit on how Dorah gave us a very good overview about the different satellite applications ranging from Earth observation, telecommunications, and navigation. I would like to focus more on Earth observation for my part of this presentation, and more specifically, share an overview on how Synergies is impacting this market, the Earth observation market, impacting the delivery of satellite imagery, and how can this satellite imagery help the African geospatial market develop. So, but before I give you this overview, I would like to start off by saying that Synergies is a global company, and essentially what Synergies is doing is bringing space closer than ever by democratizing access to space. So the company was founded 10 years ago. This is a global company with more than 300 employees. We are stationed in different countries. We have our headquarters in Barcelona, in Spain. We also have in the United States of America what we call Synergies North America. We do all of our manufacturing and R&D in Latin America. Some of this manufacturing we are going to be doing very soon also from Europe, more specifically from the Netherlands. But this is just to give you a taste of how much of a global company and the global footprint of Synergies. We started developing our technology in 2013. That's when we launched our first CubeSat. So the company was founded in 2010, started developing our technology in 2013. That's when we launched our first satellite. We took a very different approach from some companies. Our main focus was to develop the technology on our satellites until we were satisfied with the product and the services that we would be able to provide before we started delivering our products and services. So as you can see on this roadmap from 2013 up to last year. Actually, this year we just had a new launch. We launched 5 satellites, and we're going to be launching more satellites. Currently, we have 22 satellites in space, and with these 22 satellites, we can revisit any specific location on Earth. That's very, very interesting because of the many applications that you can develop with this revisit time. So essentially what Satellogic is doing is two main things. So the first thing is the global daily remapping of every square foot. And then the second thing is an updated catalog of everything. So imagine if you have an updated catalog of everything on Earth. If you constantly have access to updated satellite imagery where you wouldn't even need to task for new imagery, that's a complete game changer, and it opens the door for so many applications that you can develop, such as object identification, scene classification, predictive models, and change tracking. So I want us to focus a little bit here because if we look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and if we try to use satellite imagery, Earth observation to help or facilitate Africa, our continent, in terms of reaching those sustainable goals, we will see that there's a big correlation between satellite imagery and achieving those sustainable goals because of the many applications that we can develop, such as security, defense and security, agriculture for food, urban development, amongst many applications that we can develop with satellite imagery. So all our satellites, they are equipped with two cameras, one multispectral camera that captures 1 meter resolution and 70 centimeter resolution. The second camera is a hyperspectral camera that captures 25 meter resolution imagery. One also very interesting fact is that with all our satellites, we are able to do full motion video from space. And then lastly, all our satellites have an extra bay. So basically we are flying two cameras, and then we have this extra bay where we can fly, for example, a payload from an institution that is developing technology that they would like to fly in space, but they don't have the means, they don't have the money, for example, to launch their own satellite or launch their technology in space. So they could integrate their payload into one of our satellites and then have access to it while it's in space. Our offering portfolio is based on 4 pillars. So the first pillar is satellite imagery, bringing space down to Earth. The second pillar is AI layers, so planetary scale insights. So when you use the imagery that we collect, on top of that, you add artificial intelligence, you have a very powerful solution. The third thing is what we call the dedicated satellite constellation. And this is basically space as a service. This is very useful for government institutions that they want to develop, for example, a geospatial infrastructure. But for you to develop a geospatial infrastructure, you need a lot of data. For you to get a lot of data that is affordable, for you to get a lot of data that you can, for example, get it on demand on your areas of interest when you need it, when you want, you need to have a lot of satellites. So that would take you a very long time for you to develop this space infrastructure. And through our dedicated satellite constellation, we basically give you access to our constellation, and you can tap into these capacities and these capabilities that we have. And then lastly is what I explained a little bit earlier, which is the hosted payload program. So before I end my presentation here, I would just like to show a couple of sample imageries from Satellogic that are captured with our satellites. Very interesting here, this is an example of a full motion video that we do with all our spacecrafts. And also it's just to show a little bit of the taste. Before I wrap up, so I would like now to connect this back on how satellite imagery can facilitate this Africa in terms of achieving the sustainable development goals that were proposed by the United Nations. So through this, so many applications can be developed, and really we are only now starting to explore the surface of what is possible to do with satellite imagery. And this is my short presentation, and I hope that we have a very, very fruitful debate and discussion following up. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Eldrige, thank you so much for your great presentation. So following up, I would like to go with the panel discussion. So my first question goes to Mrs. Dorah from Rcmrd. So, Mrs. Dorah, we've seen that your regional center for mapping of resources for development is one of the leading research center in the African region when it comes to geospatial applications. So, but we can see that in some of the other countries in Africa, they are still facing some challenges to integrate geospatial data for capacity building, for example. So can you tell us what are the advice that you would like to provide to those specific countries? What are your recommendations for those countries when it comes to capacity building? That's the first question. The second question is, for example, if there are universities, companies or governments that would like to get in touch with your center for collaboration on forum or workshops or on fellowship programs, how should they proceed? How can we contact you? Are those some of the activities that your center would be interested in? So thank you so much, Mrs. Dorah.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear
Sorry,
you.
I've not heard the question properly. If you could repeat.
Okay, sure. So the first question is regarding capacity building.
Yes.
So your research, your center is one of the leading center in the geospatial industry in Africa.
Yes.
So in some of the other countries, it's like some of the other countries are still facing some challenges on integrating geospatial industry in their different sectors. So what are your recommendations for those countries when it comes to capacity building? So what are your recommendations? And the second question is, if those countries would like to get in touch with you, like the universities, the companies, or the governments would like to collaborate with your center for forum or for many other activities, how can we get in touch with you? Those are the two questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the first question on capacity building, first Rcmrd is made up of, composed of 20 member states, and we have 6 affiliate member states. So these 20 run from Somalia to all the way to Namibia. I'll share on my presentation, I'll share who are the member states. And Kenya is a host country. This center was established in 1975. And since 1975, we've been capacity building the member states in different fields, like the issue of surveying, mapping of the different natural resources in the member states. We also map hotspots in the different countries. And then we also have AfREF that is conducted annually, where we have the issues of cause and genesis is featured in terms of building the capacity of the member states to have to set up the different cause stations. Then we also recently had Liberia, although it's not a member state, but they were able to come to our center, and their capacity was built on the issues of geoinformation systems, GIS, and the issues of land survey. We had the Liberia Lands Authority that came here for about a month, and different staff from the authority were able to go through the 1 month training where they got new skills and they're able to share these skills with their colleagues back home. So in terms of reaching out to the center, we have our the Conference of Ministers, which is our topmost organ. Then below the Conference of Ministers, this consists of ministers from the Ministries of Lands and related fields in the 20 countries, as well as the affiliate member states, which include DRC, Djibouti, Angola, Seychelles, Comoros. So these are countries that are affiliated, but they've not signed the accession treaty with Rcmrd, but they still get some services from the center. But now, the topmost organ is the Conference of Ministers, which meets after every 2 years. And then we have the Governing Council, which is composed of permanent secretaries or principal secretaries from the different ministries of land in the member states, or equivalent ministries that deal with the issues of land in those member states. And this organ meets every year, and they decide on the annual. They decide on the day-to-day activities of the center, where they meet and look at the work plan that the center has come up with, and then they approve this and pass it to the Conference of Ministers, who look at it and ratify. Then below that, we have the Director General, and the Director General is a surveyor, and he's also in academia. And he's the one who responds to most of the queries that come from the member states. But we also create linkages through the projects that the center implements. Like we have the GMES and Africa project. We are now implementing the phase 2 of it that started in last month. But I've been implementing GMES for the past 4 years now. We have a new 4-year phase that concludes in the year 2025. Then we also have the Severe project. Severe project focuses on the issues of land, agriculture, and food security. They also look at the issues of weather and climate, and look at water and hydroclimatic disasters. So through all these projects, we're able now to meet the stakeholders when we go out to the field and connect with them and create synergies and partnerships with them. And then from that, we're able to chart a way forward on how we can help them, or how we can partner in addressing the challenges that bedevil the continent. Then there are also other projects like AGRA. And then Rcmrd is the host of the AfGESP Secretariat. And we have got the opportunity to continue being the AfGESP Secretariat. We've been the Secretariat since the year 2019. So now we are continuing to be the Secretariat of the AfGESP. Then we also have an yearly conference known as the Rcmrd International Conference, which I'm also inviting all of you to. It normally takes place in August, the 3rd week of August. But now, because of elections in Kenya that are being held on the 9th of August, we've pushed it by a month to September. So we'll send out some invitations on how people can attend and participate online, or if people are able to attend physically, they can come and participate in this conference. It takes about 3 days. And sometimes we merge it with, in 2019, we merged it with the AfGESP Symposium, the 3rd AfGESP Symposium. Was it 3rd or 4th AfGESP Symposium? So we do this by reaching out to the member states. Then we also have an activity called the Space Challenge. This Space Challenge empowers children in primary school and high schools, secondary schools, with knowledge on how to tackle different climatic problems. So through this, we're able now to reach out to the different stakeholders within Africa, but we also try and reach out to other partners outside the continent, so that we are able to communicate all this to them. And then we are supported by monitoring and evaluation. We have we also issue grants to we normally have a call for grants under the SAVIR project to the various countries, where we are giving some small grants that are theme-based, like on issues of land use, land cover, and ecosystems. And then there's agriculture and food security. Then there's weather and climate, and then there's water and hydroclimatic disasters. So we do this in order for us to reach out to other countries and interested parties within those countries. Then the other question was the issue of how we can partner with different organizations or governments. So first, Rcmrd is set up by governments. As I said, we had 5 founding members, which included Uganda, there was Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Malawi. Then now it has grown to 20 countries. So we provide advisory services to these countries. Like our work is not to go and implement, say there's there are floods in we say Malawi. We don't go there to actually do that, but we capacity build them in terms of how they can be able to mitigate against those floods, the early warning systems of how they can be able now to go and ensure that people are not affected by the floods. There was also the volcano eruption in DRC. This is something that had been predicted much earlier. It's only that the way we handled it, the way it was handled by partners was not done in the proper way, but something that had been foreseen and could have been, people could have been moved to higher ground. So this is the way we are working with the different partners, and also partnering with us, we reach out to the Director General. I'll provide his email address, but you could also just through communication with the different, like when we are meeting in a forum, we're able now to connect and see how else we can move the partnership or create synergies with the different organizations that each of you is working. And one thing we also, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa is one of our key partners, but it also set us up because the center was set up in 1975, because at that time many of the countries were getting independence, and they needed to know how to manage their resources, and the need for coming up with a center that would be able to help them or advise the different governments on how they can map out the various resources in the country, and the countries, and Africa has a lot of resources within it. So that is how we set up UNECA, and then it was the Organization of African Unity, and now the African Union. So these are the two bodies that were able to set us up, and they also set up organizations in Northern Africa, Then there was also one that was set up in West Africa, but Rcmrd has continued to carry out this mandate, and it has broadened into training of training and capacity building of the member states. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Mrs. Dorah, thank you so much for your response and for the explanation, the clarification on the way to collaborate with your institution. And we are really grateful for that, because from this stage, we will now start. We have many initiatives and many collaborations coming up, and we will be glad to reach out to your organization and connect to see how to move forward, or how to push the industry forward in the African region. Thank you so much. So for my next question is for Mr. Eldrige De Melo. So in your presentation, we've seen that Satellogic is working in Europe, in North America, in Latin America, and we would like to know, like, when it comes to international collaboration, like what is the strategy of Satellogic concerning that? And because it's like different regions, different language, different culture. So how, what kind of strategies Satellogic is using for that? So that's the first question. The second question is, so as part of our network, we are focusing more on emerging countries. So not only in Africa, but we would like also soon we'll come up with collaboration in Asia Pacific, in Latin America as well. So we wanted to know, like, because Satellogic is already present in Latin America, so what are the possible synergies or collaborations that can come, that we can come up with Satellogic and with our network? Like, you can notice Mrs. Dorah mentioned a lot of collaborations that they already have in Africa, and connecting those that network with the network of Satellogic can really help, you know, in many emerging countries to develop the sector. Thank you so much. Those are the two questions.
Thank you very much for the questions, Manuel. I'm starting right off the bat with the first question. So when we look, and as you said very well, we are represented regionally, but as I said in my presentation, one of the things that Satellogic is trying to do is democratize access to satellite imagery. So that means that we have a product. We constantly image the Earth because we have 22 satellites in space. With these 22 satellites in space, we are able to revisit any specific location of your interest at least 5 times per day. I'm sorry, at least 5 times per day. So that's a very high revisit rate that we can offer with the resolution that we have, 70 centimeter high resolution for multispectral imagery. So taking that into account, we are very much interested in democratizing access to satellite imagery. And our strategy is to provide our imagery to the market, to the users, because the demand is high for satellite imagery. The more every day we have new companies developing solutions. We have new startups working on analytics. So the demand is increasing. And then the reason why this demand is increasing is because the world is becoming aware of how powerful it is to use satellite imagery. And our strategy at Satellogic is to be able to provide our imagery to the market. So one thing that we do at Satellogic, for example, whether you can get imagery from Satellogic, whether you're a government institution, or if you're a startup developing your analytics, your solution, even if you are an academic institution, we will also collaborate with you. We will also provide our imagery to you, because that stands at the base of democratizing access to satellite imagery. Now, just before I wrap up to answering your first question, now, if we talk about the different applications, the different verticals, of course, it is a little bit different if you look in terms of regions. So, for example, in Africa, like I said earlier, and also Dorah Nesoba was explaining very well, some of the pressing needs in Africa will dictate which verticals or which applications are being prioritized right now. So, for example, if you go to Asia, some regions in Asia, disaster management is one of the applications that is mostly done because you have a lot of floods happening in that region. If we jump back to Africa, you will see that some of the most pressing applications are agriculture and also defense and security. But one key application that I think is quite interesting for Africa is the insurance, using satellite imagery to provide insurance companies with the timely information. Because if you're in the insurance business, it's quite important for you to be able to have reliable information in a timely manner so that you can make decisions faster. So the faster you are making decisions, the faster are your customers. And this is what we're trying to enable with our imagery and then the high revisit rate that we offer. Now, jumping to your second question, one other thing that stands at the base of what SatellitLogic is doing is collaboration, and just here on the record, I would love to collaborate with and connect with Dorah Nesoba and see what synergies we can explore, what projects we can explore together, because the work that they're doing is great, and definitely we would like to be to participate and support on that as well. We have been exploring a lot of collaboration opportunities, and you know, TOD'AERS has been we have been collaborating with TOD'AERS already, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, just to solidify this relationship that we have with TOD'AERS. The work that TOD'AERS is currently doing in the industry is very important, most specifically in terms of education and outreach. TOD'AERS is doing a lot of research, and SatellitLogic is ready to support on those research that involve the use of satellite imagery, for example, to targeting the sustainable development goals. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Eldrige, for your great answer. So yes, I believe we've reached the end of our panel. So I would like one more time to thank all the audience and also all the speakers who joined us since yesterday on the different panels. This is the 7th panel, so panel 7, and we are really grateful for this first edition of this forum. Moving forward, we will be coming up soon with the report and other collaborations between the partners of our network, and we would like also to thank the host of the event, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the authorities, as well as Her Excellency Rcmrd, former member of the presidential panel, who has supported us so far, and would like to thank also all of the other sponsors, Space Foundation, SatellitLogic, Space Generation Advisory Council, and UNESCO also, who is one of the organizer of this forum. And yeah, many thanks to the speakers who, unfortunately, they couldn't join the specific panels because many speakers had to change or to cancel their attendance. But great thanks to the speakers who were able to join as well. So thank you so much, and looking forward to upcoming collaborations. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.